Hey everybody, welcome to Ellis Mowers. We're going to work on this Troy Bilt TB110 today. Needs quite a bit of work, but I have everything I need to here in order for it to turn into a pretty good lawnmower. This is probably going to be one of the more radical start to finish flips that you're going to see, as long as everything works on it. It is a 2014 model year. It's got the Briggs 550 EX series engine on it. So it's got the primer bulb set up. What I know so far on it is that the front end is shot on it, so I got to replace the front end, which I have. I have a missing flap over there as well, which I believe I'm going to rob it off of another lawnmower that's not quite as nice and put it on this one, because I also have a bag that I'm going to add to this as well that I've had in storage for a little while. So let's go ahead and get started on this fix. All right, let me give you all a walk around of this thing. It needs probably quite a bit of work. Like I said, I have, to my knowledge, everything that I need to get this thing back right again. Remember, 6, not even 7 years old, and this is what it looks like. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. It is missing the gas cap, and I believe it is pretty hard to pull. I'll try and pull it for y'all to show you. It does have a blade on it, so I know it's not that. You can see in spots it is hard to pull. We'll pop some carb spray in it, see if we can get it going here in a second. I have checked the oil. I'll show you all as well. The oil is full, because I mean it was right there on the stick, so it's fine. It's just come up on the stick a little bit because of the compression of the engine pulling on it. So the front end is shot, like I said. It's missing the little lever to raise and lower it. That's a pretty common failure on these MTDs with the plastic front ends on them. And so I have one right here that I took off of one that had a rotted out deck, so we can replace that. That's really easy to replace. It's just 3 screws right here, 2 on the bottom, and it's out. So very easy. Plan is to add a bag to this to help increase the value and also get it out of my garage. And I also needed a little cover here for the air filter box. And it looks like the carb's a little loose on it as well, which means that I may need a gasket on that. Looks like somebody tried to take this apart and didn't put it all the way back together. So we also have a couple of mismatched locking screws here that's causing the handle to be a little loose. So we'll either tighten that up or replace the screws. We do have the little brush guard on the bottom of it, which is good. Sometimes they go missing. I had an extra. I put it on a different lawnmower. Like I said, I got the bag. I need to find a gas cap. I'll go into my gas tank hoard. It's not really hoard, but my gas tank container, and see what we have there. Just for kicks, let me take this thing out and see if we can get it to run. This is just a regular 21-inch push mower, not self-propelled or anything like that. I think they run, well, when they were made at Lowe's, I think they ran like $199 or something like that. Now Lowe's makes Craftsman, and Home Depot's got Troy Bilt, so they're all the same guys. They just put different names on them. Well, we'll come back to that. It looks like I either broke the starter cup or the, well, probably more so the pull rope recoil spring on it. Again, not a big issue because I've got like 7 or 8 of them things sitting in the back from all the old customer return mowers that I have. It's just going to have a generic cover on it, or it may say Murray on it, but that's not really going to detract from the value of the mower. So, while I'm at it, since I screwed this up somehow, probably because it's screwed up as it is, I'm either going to find I'll take this off, I'll find a gas cap for us. The gas tank's pretty nasty, I'm going to have to wash that out. And we're going to check the condition of everything on this. Very easy. Let me get everything set up on the bench and I'll show you how to take everything off, and we'll take a look at everything while we're at it here. Alright guys, the more I do this, the more it seems like y'all enjoy watching the teardown process and the rebuilding process. So I'll take you along on as much as I can without making this ungodly long. So 5/16, we have 1, 2, and 3 up top. Just take those off and your recoil is off. And just put all your screws where you know you're not going to lose them. Okay, the recoil came back, so that's good. It means either the starter cup kind of screwed it up. Oh. Yeah, the recoil came back because it fell apart inside of here. There's all your internals for your recoil. How about that? But as you can see, this starter, I'll show you one that's supposed to look like it, you know, proper. And this little starter cup right here obviously has seen better days. So recoil spring, all this is basically trash anyways. Well, the recoil spring is good, but I've got so many of these, and I do not go through. I think I've done this once on the channel, is put one of these back on. It's all gunky and not sliding very well anyways. So since I have so many of these, I mean, even we got some damage on this down here anyway, so this would never come back the way that it is. So the engine feels like it has good compression on it. I just want to get this whole mess out of the way real quick. Because the gas tank has been open and exposed to the elements, I'm going to go ahead and take the plug out and put a little bit of WD-40 down the spark plug hole there. And we are going to try things. There's also something else that I have just discovered. So, you see this right here? This is an auto choke. And so they have a 550 series and a 550 or 550E and a 550EX. And y'all probably couldn't tell by my voice, but the EX is supposed to be auto choke. So what they have done is they have put, they've put a standard carburetor on an auto choke engine. First time I've ever seen this, guys. Yeah, that's the whole housing and everything for a standard carburetor. So somebody has seriously done some work on this. I've already taken the spark plug boot off. We're going to take the plug off. I had a feeling somebody had been in this, and I was right. Let's see what the oil situation looks like. This would have never started. It had water in the cylinder. So I'll clean that plug off and probably get it to fire again. Like I said, I'm going to put some WD-40 down the cylinder here. It's not going to look very pretty, but we'll get it in there. And this shoots pretty far, doesn't it? Spark plug's out of it. I'm going to grab my alligator clip and plug it on the top here with the handle. We're just going to turn it. Oh, you see all the junk running out of it down there now. So we had oil intrusion in the cylinder. Let me get something to wipe that up. Yeah, this thing, it could have been from the way that I transported it. Because I got this, I think, in a lot of like 6 or 7 mowers for like $70. A lot of times I just literally throw them. I don't have the trailer. I just throw them on the back of the truck. Seems like it's got decently strong compression. We'll have to put a different carburetor on it and such. So it's actually good because the covers for these are coveted. They're really not too expensive online to buy. It's about $6 or $7. But I'm just turning that. It looks like we've gotten most, if not all, the oil. There's a little bit of water still dripping out. I'll leave that exposed. I'll probably run a little bit of carb cleaner in it after I've worked through that. But it looks like we have good compression with the spark plug out still. So I'm going to just inspect the blade. Give me just a second here. The blade has a few rock chips in it, but looks totally salvageable. So that's a good thing. Wow. It's a little bit worse than I thought. Never seen somebody put a regular carburetor on an auto choke engine. We'll go ahead and zip this off. There's nothing in the gas tank, so 1, 2. This is just a 5/16 as well, so nothing crazy. I'm going to throw all that junk away that I have down there. And it's supposed to be a second 5/16 here, but obviously the bigger carburetor, bigger mounting bolt, or a wider gap for the air filter housing. So they only had it locked down on one side. This is what holds the carb on. Anybody want to take bets that they didn't even put the washer in it? And the O-ring. So there's that. That's good because I get to save this and I get to save the cover. I got oodles of EX carbs here because they seem to blow up pretty regularly. The 625s, the whole check and add mess. These are at least a little bit better. So they had the O-ring and they did not have the little white piece that goes on it. So that's good for them. This is a good time. I'm going to go ahead and source the parts that I need for this and come back to y'all in just a second. It looks like at least the auto choke is here, and I just need to hook it up to the new carb, and hopefully it works fine. Seems like its spring is pretty good. And gas cap, carburetor, pull rope mechanism. Let me grab my parts. I'll be right back with the new parts. Alrighty, best thing I could come up with, I have a new gas tank here. That's the best gas cap that I have. It is the only gas cap that I have for Briggs overhead valve. And then here is the correct carburetor to put on it. It has the auto choke spring feature on it as well, as you can see. This one does not. You can see it's a dead piece up right here, and but it kind of looks like you could retrofit it, doesn't it? Yeah, you could actually retrofit this. That's different. I've never noticed that, guys. So these are basically the same carburetor. They have just added this mechanism. Let me get you on the tripod. So instead of having a dead plate right here, they have added this choke mechanism right here and all this contraption on the top, which all goes together in one unit that attaches to this side of the carburetor. And this is actually the same on both the pulse or the primer bulb and the auto choke carburetors. How about that? You learn something new every day. So in theory, if I really wanted to, I could take this mechanism off of this carburetor and put it onto that carburetor and turn it into an auto choke, which is really cool. But obviously this is it's much easier just to put the new carb on. This is not a new carb, this is a new takeoff though from an engine that blew. What I'm going to do, we will take off the bolts here. I'm just going to make sure that it's clean inside. Y'all see me clean it a lot of times. But what we can also do is I will grab my toolbox very quickly. Grab these angle needle nose pliers here. These right here are these pliers are a saving grace. They really are. So carb's off, so it might be a little difficult for us to get this fuel line off, but I'm not really trying to even save the fuel line. So, and I have so many of these carburetors. I know this one's had water intrusion and stuff in it. I might just throw it in the trash. I'm not sure. Because I've probably got every bit of a dozen of one of these laying around. So maybe you can see the water just coming out of it right there, just because it didn't have any gas cap. But look, exactly the same. Exactly the same on the top, except for the additional choke mechanism. So what I'm going to do is next is just take the gas tank off here and put the new one on. I'll go ahead and bend this in some because it was off. We're going to check, I'm going to check the carburetor real quick. So I can push this mower back a little bit, give me a little bit more working space. Man, that whole thing just grenaded itself in the pull rope mechanism there. 2 7 mils. Get y'all down here now. Flathead screwdriver just kind of in the groove here. We'll pop this off. I think my screwdriver's a little too big. I'd usually sometimes do this as well. Just any way to get it popped off, just like that. Oh, this thing's clean as a whistle. Look at that. Like I said, I think this was a new takeoff. I think it was one of them. I forgot to put oil in my carb, or I forgot to put oil in my mower type deal and ran it dry. Or one of them sucky auto choke, or those check and add functions, which I don't know if Briggs has gotten away with yet. I have not been able to get my hands on any new mowers like I usually do every year. Or at least, 1-year-old models, which for me isn't new. Probably shouldn't have impacted that back on, but whatever. Y'all aren't seeing that. Plastic into plastic. That's why I'm using my 12-volt Milwaukee. Next, carb. I think it's easier to put the auto choke spring on, or the auto choke rod on first, and then we're going to put the carb rod on, or the governor arm. Thing does not want to go on there. Come on, buddy. There we go. And again, it already has the white, the O-ring and the little white gasket on the back of it. So what I'm going to do as well is take this old fuel line, well, not an old fuel line, but the fuel line off of the, let's take it off the tank. It's going to be a little bit easier for us, I think. I wonder if I could do this doubly. Oh yeah, haha. It's just a matter of wiggling the mess off. It's good when these things are on tight because you know that they're not going to leak on you. There we go. Sometimes they just need breaking loose like that. All right, new fuel line. I hope I'm not getting too long in the tooth here. Just putting this on. Putting the new fuel line on. Ow. It really does not want to go onto this tank. Alright, there is on tight, guys. I guess spray a little lube, maybe that'll help. Man, that fuel line is on there. Was on there tight. It doesn't want to go. See if we can get it on there a little bit better now. I guess that'll do, won't it? Clamp it on. Next order of business, I'm going to go, oh, it's already clamped there, silly. Next order of business, I'm going to go find the proper cover for this auto choke carb, and then we are also going to find the pull rope cover. So give me a second. So let me show you, I've got like 4 or 5 of these a piece. Briggs made 2 different designs of these. You see the one on the right has the teeth that are always out. Well, when you pull on that one, the teeth actually come down with a spring and engage this starter cup, which I don't know if you can see is like, it's got these little grab points on them. Now the newer ones with this one I'm about to show you. So this is the original style they used. This was a very poor design, and so they, I guess, rethought the starter cup. So the new starter cups are kind of your classic, it looks like I guess a square or rectangle or whatever you want to call it. And the new ones just have these tabs that pop out like the design that they used to use in the classic style Briggs engines. I believe they use it in the Quantums too. A little bit more reliable, and they grab a lot better too from what I can tell. So this goes on. Just checking that dipstick, it seems a little loose. This doesn't have, this one doesn't have a sticker or anything on it. So I think it used to have a cover or something along those lines. Or the original sticker just came off. I don't recall. So the other thing that I need is the carb cover, which I had. Let me go find the new carb cover and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I have your old and your new carb cover. The air filter is a little bit bigger on these and is shaped a little bit differently. I'll have to find an air filter for it. I should have one. If not, I'll have to order one. This is your primer bulb setup. And you just have to make sure that you put it on your breather tube. Slide that in. I like to slide that in first. Do my best to anyways. And then we're going to hook these into the little, let's see, we got to hook it around. Some of these gas tanks have the little tab on the end of them, and then we just hook it around the tab, and that keeps everything on. And then now what I'll do is take my 5/16 inch screw, I guess if you want to call it. I'm not going to tighten it all the way, just screw it in. Sometimes this other one you have to kind of push a little bit in order to get in, but the mounts are pretty flexible on these, so it's really, like I said, really not much trouble to get them in. Best way to go about these is to hand tighten them, because it's really easy to strip the threads. And now we have 2 7mm screws. I'll tell you what, I'm going to loosen these 5/16 up a little bit. That way we can kind of work the 7 mils where they need to go. Let me practice what I preach here and get something to hand crank that in with. Man, this mess was messed up more than I thought. Again, minor things, because my part stock for these overhead valve Briggs is just through the roof because of all of the customer returns that I worked on. in the first years that these existed. And then the 5/16, of course, when you lose your socket, right? Oh, I had the nut driver, that's why I didn't have the socket out. Okay, let me find an air filter for this, and we'll put the air filter on and the air filter cover for this on, and I think we'll be at the point to test this thing out. Alright, this is the best air filter I could find for right now. I will order a new one before I sell it. Air filter cover. Boom. Now let's take my 3 5/16 inch. Put them back on. Make sure I can get it on there. I told you I was going to look in the spark plug, didn't I? Which I've already done. Good. So I think I've purged all the water out of that, which means that I will be ready to start. Be ready to start the mower as soon as I put it down here. Got to sort out a couple of other things still. Let me grab my. I'm just going to put some gas in this thing and give it a few pulls after I put the plug back in it to see if it runs. So let me get to that point and I'll let y'all rejoin me there. Alright guys, we have oil, gas, hopefully we have spark. I don't know for sure yet. But I'm going to pull this thing over, see if it fires up for us. It probably will be a smoke screen when I do though. Caused a smoke screen. Good thing I got a lot of plants around the property. Helps keep the smoke out. I hope the rings aren't bad on this thing. I hope it's just got a ton of mess in the muffler. I'll let it run for a few and then I'll rejoin you if it ever stops smoking. Alright, there we go. Most of the smoke is gone, so let's go ahead does have a very, very small vibration to it. I don't know if it's the blade. It's maybe because there's a bunch of junk on the shaft. But knowing that we have a good running push mower, let's see how bad it smokes when I start it back up. Judging by the amount of oil that was in the crankcase and on the plug when I took it off, I'm hoping that the rings are still good on it. It looks like it has pretty much remedied itself after I've done the mosquito spray for the entire neighborhood. Let me get it on its side in the garage, and we will go ahead and replace the front end. It shouldn't take too long. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get this off here. The front end, that is. A 5/8 inch takes off the blade. And now, I think it's 3/8, and you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts for that. And I'm hoping a 1/4 inch drive will do it. Yeah, they're just these type bolts. So they come off pretty easily. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'll have to be fun on that one. And that one too. If I have to cut those off, so be it. Let me figure out a better way to get them off. That way that I can, maybe a 10. Let me try a 10 very quickly. See if that makes the difference. No. Yeah, I just rounded it all off. So I think I just got to get them broken loose. As long as I don't damage the metal on the deck, then I'm good. I think I'm just going to grab some pliers. So I'm going to do that off camera. I'll let you know what I end up having to do to get those bolts off. But then we'll go ahead and put the new front end on. It's going pretty easy. All right, so we are almost off. I do realize that what I can also do is take this, just the axle itself off instead of the whole front plastic assembly by pushing those tabs in and taking that off. However, this whole entire assembly is very tight, and sometimes when you do that, it causes things to get loose, and so I didn't want to break anything apart. The middle bolt came out whenever I put the 3/8 inch on it and took it out that way. I've got I had a 9mm that I hammered onto this top bolt in order for it to work. And so we've got it loose. I should just be able to finger tighten it out now, or finger it out now. Maybe not. Let me grab the 9mm back because I just didn't want it to be hammered on there. But this should be all that's holding on the front end. And it should just pop off. Just like that. Super easy, super easy. Now, this, I don't know what I'll save off of this, because a lot of times it's the whole, this adjuster, height adjuster. Usually it's not missing this, so not sure, because usually this isn't busted off. Usually it's either broken off the deck or it's missing the height adjustment piece like I mentioned. But the wheels at least are good. I will pop these center caps off and put them on the new mower, or the new front end. And I have good bolts for the new front end as well, so I'm just going to take those out. I'll take these out and I'll get the new one on, and like I said, it goes on just like the old one. So the more I look at this mower, the more that I don't think I'm going to change out the discharge chute and all that. I think I'm just going to put a discharge chute on it and call it a day, since it does have a little bit of a vibration. It does look like the shaft is ever so slightly bent on it. Like I said, good bolts right here to put in between the two front ends. And it's pretty much just literally just slide it on and then put your bolts back in, or your screws or whatever. Your 3 on the top and 2 on the bottom. I am going to get rid of these center caps because they are obviously done. All you have to do is take a screwdriver and pop those off, as long as they're not brittle and breaking like these. But I'm going to change the center caps on this. It's the same center cap design, and or I might just leave the center caps off, who knows. I know what Jason Pate of Pate's Performance would do. But I'd like to keep these from getting exposed. I'll clean off the deck a little bit. I'll go ahead and clean the mower, sharpen the blade, get this stuff off, and then I will let's check the so the blade key's good. Makes it easy to just get this off though. So I'll do all that and clean up the mower, and then I'll rejoin you when I get to that point. I think I'm going to put a custom side chute on it as well. One other thing I noticed is that the deck was starting to crack in this area, so please don't judge my welding job, but did weld that up the best that I could. Obviously it was burning, even on the minimum setting, the flux welder was burning through the trying to burn through the deck there, but it is more rigid than it was, which is a good thing. Never seen a deck like that break there, but it's better now though. I'm gonna, like I said, I haven't put the wheel covers on yet, but it's really easy to do. I'll just take the old one off. Same thing with the Troy Bilt. Put it on. Just like that. I'll clean everything up, go ahead and change the oil and sharpen the blade, and then I'll show you how to put that homemade discharge chute on it after I clean everything up. I'll cut that and show you all that, and then we will go ahead and wrap this video up. I don't think I'm going to do a bag, mostly because of the way that that front end is over there. I think this mower is getting closer to the end of its life than I thought. Again, welding that area up over there, I could have done it before I put the front end on it, but welding it from the back is fine. This deck will rust out before that will all break off. So let me clean it up and I'll get back to you when we put this homemade discharge chute on. Alright, so we're going to take this off. This is the original mount for the discharge chute. I'm just going to put my hand under there so that it doesn't spin with a 3/8. So taking that off. Now, tilt the mower back. I'll show you what I do, and it's a lot cheaper than buying a discharge cover or a chute or something along those lines. I've got one of them Commander like rugged totes that people put in the back of their vehicles or people put in their attics for storage. I think I got the whole tote for like $10. And what I've done is I've taken the top and I just take an angle grinder. You can use some sort of better cutting mechanism, but don't use scissors because it will bust. As long as you can get this to where it won't bust whenever you're cutting, that's the most ideal. So I did that. I cut, these have the squares in them. Some I think have waves, but I cut a 3x2 square out of it, and that generally works pretty well for what I want to do. I'll show you my finished product right here before we put it on. And this is basically just to keep the discharge chute from, or to keep the grass clippings from shooting up onto things. It's just trying to keep them down. And all I do is just pretty much just put it right here, and just like that, so it acts just like a discharge chute. And I've done it on one mower, and it has really kept the grass clippings down and off of the mower, so it's serving the purpose of a discharge chute. You're just paying a fraction of the price to have something serve the same purpose. So we'll put it on like this. Try and put it on as close to the front part of the discharge chute as possible, because with the way the grass shoots out, it shoots out that way with the way that the blade turns, and so you want to have it covered to about right here so that it doesn't try and shoot up at you while you're running the mower. Just trying to do my best to make things safe and operable. I just attach it using these self-drilling screws here. With a 5/16. Just, I'm always up for feedback. Let me know what y'all think. I know this is kind of a cheap way to do it, but we're always trying to look for hacks, because on a mower that may be worth $75, $80, putting a $10 chute on it is a pretty big deal. So it's one of those you need 3 hands to do it type deals here. I usually put 4 in there just for extra insurance. Try and not put it right on the edge just to keep it from busting. If you really wanted to make it look nice, you could kind of cut this plastic off or cut it a better way than an angle grinder. that's just the best option I have currently here at home. So I'll do the other 3 here. And again, you don't want it to stick out too much to where it's going to be any further out than, say, a standard discharge chute. So that's about what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to go ahead and put the last 3 in here, and I will go ahead, and we've already got it cleaned, so I'll go ahead and give you all a final look and start after this. Alright guys, here's the final look for this Troy Bilt. I'm not going to do any more work on it because this is about all the work that the mower warrants in its current condition. It went from a Troy Bilt mower to a mower that has an identity crisis, but hey, it works fine. It's an MTD mower. The deck has a couple of soft spots and a couple of areas that have, or that one area that has cracked on the left front, which I welded up a little bit just to help improve its rigidity. Probably going to get another 2 to 3 years out of this mower for somebody before the deck rusts out or something like that. But hey, it saves it from the landfill for right now. This will maybe a $75 mower, maybe an $80 mower, depending on the right buyer and the time of season. Probably list it for 80, take 70 for it. I think it's worth that much. And again, let me know what y'all think of my discharge chute over there. I think in terms of look and function, it's a decent look. It doesn't look homemade or makeshift like a lot of the sheet metal stuff does. It kind of looks like it's supposed to be on the mower. Maybe not. I might improve on it a little bit. I don't know. But this does work. And let me start it up. We'll do a walk around and then we'll wrap this thing. As you can see, it still dances a little bit, but you don't really feel it in the handle. And on the grass, it's not going to dance nearly as much. Coming out right here, which is where you want it to go. So you can see it is trying to walk a little bit on the concrete, but it does start, restart, and it stops smoking and all that, so we're good on that. It does say Craftsman on the front, but we're working with what we got here. So it's the same exact deck and function as the Troy Bilt, and was the easiest way to go. Again, this was kind of piecing everything together, making it run, making it functional for somebody. This was never going to be a top class mower like I was originally going to try to do with it, with the bag and whatnot. I will save the bag for a much nicer mower in the future. I did hit the crankshaft a couple of times with the sledgehammer just to straighten it out a little bit. It made it, I was questioning whether or not I was going to do it at first, but then because you can just barely notice it when it's running, and then when I hit the hit it with the sledge about 2 or 3 times, it made the situation quite a bit better. And it was usable before, but it's to the average lawnmower buyer, it's not going to seem like it's vibrating, because unless you have it perfectly smooth, it's always going to vibrate just a little bit, just because you got all that rotational force going on. But we turned trash into treasure again, so I hate that I haven't been able to get my mower lights like I have in years past, because it's kind of left me struggling to get good push mowers going, or keep my quality up. So what I'm trying to do instead is the used ones I'm trying to make functional and safe, on a budget, obviously. So let me know what y'all think. Y'all seen a bunch of push mowers on the channel here in recent weeks. Hopefully I'll get those customer returns back this coming up year, as long as the market's not crazy and I can have access to them. So, but we got this one going, perfectly functional. Let me know about the discharge chute again. Again, we had to do a lot to this carburetor. Change out one of the bolts, sharpen the blade, change the front end, replace the pull rope cover, replace the gas cap, which ended up replacing the whole tank because it was a little bit easier, because of the gas cap design, and a couple of other little things. I still need to order an air filter for it. I'll go on and do that before I sell it off, because I have plenty of push mowers ready to go. So thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you on the next flip.